Thank you.
And now the serial The Cazalets by Elizabeth Jane Howard. Clary has become rather too close to her married boss Noel, whilst Polly is making her living working for an interior design company. Penelope Wilton narrates Casting Off.
This is it, I'm afraid. Not much for you to go on. It's awfully small.
It has possibilities. I have to measure first, see which walls are structural, things like that.
Perhaps I might help.
If you really want to. Thanks.
Polly had first met Gerald at a party, hosted by her employers. She was allowed now occasionally to have design ideas of her own. And when he said he'd just bought a very small flat in Pimlico, his aunt, Lady Wilmot, suggested Polly should pop round, as she was bound to have some very good ideas of what might be done with it.
If you could just hold this right up against the skirting board.
I thought you'd advise me about colours of walls and curtains, that sort of thing.
10'3". Well, we do that, of course. But I think there are things that need to be done before we get to that stage.
I'm sure you know best. It's my first place, actually. I don't really know the form.
You can let go now. The measure.
Oh, right.
Polly suggested they have coffee in a little place around the corner, so that they might talk about ideas for the flat.
Poached egg on toast, extra beans, and 2 coffees.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, best thing about the army was the beans. Never had them at home. Not that I've ever spent very much time there.
How do you mean?
Well, boarding school since I was 7, then the war and the army. You know how it is. And after Charles, my older brother, was killed, my mother found it difficult to have me about. She said I reminded her too much of him, you see. Which is funny, because I was never really in the least like him.
What kind of person was he?
Oh, terribly brainy and good-looking. Awfully good with girls and that sort of thing. As a matter of fact, he rather despised me. I wish that you'd tell me a bit about yourself.
What would you like to know?
Oh, anything. I'd like to know anything about you.
Well,
She told him about her family and living at home place.
Go on.
She told him about her mother dying and how unhappy it had made her father. And she saw his slightly bulging eyes become moist.
Oh, Lord.
She was surprised how much she told him. He was such an attentive listener. Eventually, she had to say she thought the waiter probably wanted them to leave or have something else to eat.
Oh, that's all right. I'll simply have another poached egg. Wouldn't you like one by now? I mean, my first was for my breakfast. Yours could be an early lunch.
On the way home on the bus, she found herself thinking that there was something to be said for him. She knew her capacity for feeling sorry for people, and he seemed a prime candidate. But it wasn't all, or even the first thing that she felt. A week later, she had done her drawings, and she invited him to supper. He sounded very pleased and arrived with a beautiful fern as a present.
thank you.
I didn't know what you'd like.
It's lovely. Do come up.
It's funny, but I kept wanting to bring you a cat. And then I thought you might have one already.
I don't, but I love them. I can't have one here because of not having a garden.
Well, that's another drawback for London. The lack of good gardens for cats.
She told him about Oscar and how much she had loved him. And he told her about a cat he'd had when he was 7, which always slept on his bed and went for rides in his bicycle basket.
What happened to her?
She had kittens, and then my parents had her put down when I was at school.
How awful for you.
They didn't like cats, you see. I'd hidden her from them, but when I was sent to school, they found out.
He was very appreciative of
Would you like
everything.
some more?
Oh,
He had
yes,
2
please.
helpings of kedgeree.
I say, I am having a lovely time.
And the slightly bulging eyes met hers with such frank and grateful pleasure, she was infected by it.
Where were you in the war?
Moved about. Got dropped into places.
You were a paratrooper.
That's it. I know I don't look the part. I look more like a frog, which is not much good. Unless you are one.
She opened her mouth to say that he didn't look like a frog.
Don't. Everything's been so truthful between us. I don't want a kind lie. Imagine me on a water lily, eyes wide, a bit like this, waiting in hope for a passing fly to come by and...
I've never met a frog before.
It's not surprising. There aren't a lot of us about.
Do you feel all right about the drawings?
Oh, I trust you, absolutely. Can I see you tomorrow?
Yes.
They did meet the next evening, but it wasn't a great success. He seemed distracted and ill at ease. He said he had to go down to the country to see his parents and wouldn't be about for a few days. But then she discovered through the builders at the flat that he'd been back for some time and had failed to get in touch with her. She felt dispirited and wondered if he was trying to avoid her. That evening, she tried to clear her head by writing a list of pros and cons.
Gerald Cons. He does rather look like a frog. He wears pretty awful clothes. He bites his nails. He doesn't seem to want to have a career. He's very changeable. Thought he really liked me, but he can't, or he would have rung up. Perhaps he pretended to like me. He seems to have a horrible family. Pros? I like talking to him. He makes me laugh. He hasn't made a pass at me, like most men after about 2 meetings. He doesn't show off at all. He likes cats and other animals. I actually like him more than most people. He has a very nice voice. Good hands, except for the nails. The detail.
I say, could you possibly hold the map in case I make a mistake?
Of course. I thought we could go to Richmond Park. Or Kew. Or Hampstead Heath.
You choose. I'm awfully glad you rang up.
You could have called me.
I wasn't sure. I'm really a sort of a job for you. I didn't want to overstep the mark.
I don't think there is a mark.
Polly walked with Gerald in the park for 2 hours. It was one of the best autumn days that month, mild, with hazy sun, and distant small herds of deer.
Another reason I've not been in touch. My father's been rather ill, you see.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel awful about saying you could have rung now.
Oh, no need to. I thought he might want to see me, but he didn't. I only stayed one night.
Is your mother very upset?
Can't tell. She's never very anything. She doesn't talk to me much.
He will get better, though.
I don't think so. Actually, I'm quite worried about my mother, if he does die. She's always hated our house. She's talked for ages about going to live on the Riviera somewhere. But I don't think she's got much idea about money, and I'm pretty sure there's not much left. Anyway, what would you like to do after lunch?
What would you like?
I don't mind, as long as we do it together.
Back at Polly's house later, she made toast with Marmite. And then they found a cinema showing I Married a Witch. But as the night drew to its close, their parting was awkward.
Thank you for a lovely day.
Oh, no. I should thank you. Well, I'll just see that your key works, and I'll be gone. Ah, good. Well, I'll be off.
The next morning, the telephone rang at 9.
I hope I'm not ringing too early.
No, I'm just having coffee and toast.
When I got back last night, there was a telegram. My father died yesterday.
Oh.
I'm afraid I've got to go down there and see to things, the funeral and all that. I just wanted to tell you.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. There's nothing you can say. I just wanted you to know, so you wouldn't think I'd just vanished. Not that it would necessarily matter if I had.
It would.
Would it? Goodbye.
Paddington 5489.
Polly, it's Gerald.
Oh, hello.
I have a favour to ask you. Are you by any chance free this weekend? I've got a bit of a problem with my parents' house. I thought you'd know what to do.
There's lunch of a sort at home, if you can hold out till then.
I don't mind at all. How's your mother?
She left immediately after the funeral. A friend has taken her to France on holiday.
Does she want to sell the house?
Well, actually, my father left it to me.
He turned off the road into what she thought at first was a cart track. But when an avenue of trees began, she realised it was some sort of disused drive. When they emerged from the trees and turned a corner, she saw across the park an enormous building splayed out across the skyline.
There it is. It's stately without being much of a home. Oh, it appalls you. I was afraid it might. Anyway, let's go and have some lunch in it. Yeah. We have sherry, soup, and some chicken left for us in the oven. Let's put the sherry in the soup.
All right.
Oh. After lunch, I thought we'd go over the whole place. There are some rooms I've practically never been in. I should think a lot of it's in a pretty awful state.
I suppose that might make it difficult to sell.
Oh, I can't sell it. It's been left to me through some awful trust, which means I can't get rid of it.
So what are you going to do?
I don't know. It depends on things.
Gerald took her on a tour of the house. One door led to the ballroom, the long wall of which had 4 large windows that looked out on the wreck of a formal garden.
I'm afraid nothing's been done very much for years.
This must have been marvellous once. How many bedrooms are there?
I don't know. We could count if you like. There's an attic floor as well. But perhaps you've had enough for one day.
Oh, no. I'd like to see it all.
And see it all she did, until they closed the last door of the last bedroom in the old servants' quarters, and stood in a tiny beam of light from a narrow passage window.
There's been a part of me that would quite like to simply lock all the doors and never come back. What do you think of that?
I suppose it depends whether you love it or not. Because if you do, and you abandon it, it might haunt you rather.
If you were left it, what would you do?
Oh, I think I'd try to live in it. I'd make bits of it comfortable and then see how it went.
Would you? Then I must take the plunge. Would you live here with me? Would you marry me and do that? Would you at least consider it?
I don't need to consider it.
You mean it? You really will actually marry me?
I want to marry you.
I wanted to marry you from the moment I saw you. And then the more I saw you, the more I wanted to. But I didn't think I had a hope. And then with my father dying and getting saddled with this place...
I would have married you whatever might have happened.
Would you? I haven't a bean. All I can offer you is the frog-like devotion of a lifetime.
I'm looking forward to being Mrs. Lisle.
Well, actually, that's another thing. You'll be Lady Fakenham. I'm afraid chronic association with me turns you into a lady.
I think I should enjoy being Lady Fakenham. It sounds like someone in an Oscar Wilde play.
Yes, it does rather, doesn't it?
That night, Polly lay in a surprisingly comfortable bed, clutching a stone hot water bottle to her. She remembered lying on the grass with Louise, telling her she'd marry one of the people who proposed to her out of sheer kindness, and for years afterwards being afraid she would. And here she was, with Gerald, and kindness didn't come into it. Tomorrow she would ring her father and tell him there was someone she wanted him to meet, and he would guess why at once. And then she thought of her mother, and grief that seemed deeply buried sprang freshly from its grave. I shall always miss her, she thought. And what would Clary think of it all? They had grown apart, and now perhaps the difference in their circumstances would make things worse. They won't. They can't. I really love her, she thought. And as she became drowsy, she saw the house again with all its rooms. It was such a challenge. It would probably take her all her life.